got smart, oh. They've got smart. Brethren, can we pray that every power that has caused the arrest of Matthew, they will begin to die by fire. In the name of Jesus, can we begin to pray?
Yeah, I'm super excited today. You know why? This is a very special edition of Beyond Entertainment Show with PVO. And my guest today is not just one, not two, not three. We are many, including myself. Can you imagine that? The reason is because this is a special edition of Beyond Entertainment Show for the movie ABATTOIR. Kai, I am sure you have been seeing that movie. And so we have brought all the major actors in this movie that is currently showing on YouTube. Hallelujah. And so I don't want to talk much. Well, I played a role there. I don't want to talk about my role because the director made me to cry. The director made me to cry. Alright, so we're not talking about my role, but let's talk about Chief Durosanya and his friend and every other person that played major role in this movie. Let's go there now. See ya.
Hello, my name is Damilola Gbade, the writer, producer, and director of the movie ABATTOIR.
My name is Joshua Gbade, aka J Mikey. I was the director of photography for the online series ABATTOIR. I was also the chief editor, the music and visual effects producer, and I also played the role of Frank.
My name is Toby Olumuyewa. Some people love to include some additional nomenclatures. So some say Toby Olumuyewa or Gbenro. What is your problem? The Son of God, and I belong to the ministry Ever Increasing Glory Ministry. And by God's grace, in the movie ABATTOIR, I was the assistant director of that great movie titled ABATTOIR. And also, I also played that role of the Suya man's boy.
My name is Kayode Ojori, a Christian evangelical drama minister, and by the grace of God, the husband of one wife, and a father to 3 nations who are doing well, some of them also in Christian drama. And I give the glory to God that I also operate in the office of a pastor by the grace of God, and I as well as a professional and a consultant in the area of communications development. My area is called Behavioral Change Communications, and I work with a couple of agencies all over Nigeria.
My name is Kayode Babalola. They call me K-Babs. I acted with Inspector General Gbade in the film ABATTOIR.
My name is Adibola Witness. I'm a writer and drama minister, and also a graduate of Babcock University, where I studied anatomy.
My name is Oluwatimileyin Oyewole. I'm a child of God. I'm a student of civil engineering, University of Ibadan. I'm the last one of 3 children, a family of 3 children. I love writing, creative writing, and I think I love imagining things a lot.
I'm Owa Janet Atenike.
My name is Kule Okola. I'm a reverend of the Nigerian Baptist Convention denomination. By the grace of God, the role I play in ABATTOIR is the role of the ritualist, Babalawo.
Bobade Samuelu Ashion. I assisted the set designer in making the set for the production, and also joining hands in the props and costume management for the production. At the same time, I also acted as a Yahoo boy.
My name is Alabelewe. I'm a postgraduate student of the University of Ibadan. I'm an athlete, and I'm also a drama minister. I started running since I was in primary school. Entering international to University of Gbade, I was representing my school as well. I was the sport prefect in SS3. Entering UI, I continued with being an athlete. I went for competitions. I even went to Ghana to run for UI.
First of all, I think it's the grace of God. I believe that whatever you write, and as a gospel filmmaker, it has to come from the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. So this is what happened. Like 5 years ago, I watched a movie, season film. Now, this film captivated me so much. It held my attention so much, and it engaged me. So I watched season 1, I watched season 2, I watched season 3. Got to a point I was almost doing VG over the film, and I felt so bad. And the reason I felt so bad was because this film was not inspiring me in any way. I was not spiritually edified. I watched this film and I was empty at the end of the day. And I asked myself, why am I watching this film? Why is it having so much grip on me? I felt so bad, So what I did was I went to God and I prayed. I was almost crying. I was telling God, I said, God, you must give an inspiration. You must give us a revelation, a movie that can hold the attention of people for so long, but at the same time, have the word of life in it, have the message of Christ in it. So that was my prayer. I needed a message from God that will have the same attention, that will hold people's attention. And at the end of the day, if you're watching episode 1, you want to watch episode 2. If you're watching episode 2, you want to watch episode 3. You want to keep going and going and going. That was the prayer I was praying. And I just received the idea, the inspiration to write ABATTOIR. So I wrote the film like 5 years ago, but there was no experience to shoot, because then I hadn't started handling camera, and didn't started shooting at that time. So my brother was like, no, let's just keep this till we start, having flexible enough to hold the camera and do so many things we want to do. And so we kept it in the cooler. Then like 3 years ago, I revisited it, I wrote it, the script was misplaced for some reasons. 2 years ago, I wrote it again. The script was, the laptop that I was backing up and I was writing for some reason just crashed and everything, so I lost the script. And I was asking myself, why didn't I back up the script to the cloud or something? Then this year again, I just picked it up again. Last year, that was 2019, we just picked it up again, and it became a reality, and that was how we were able to shoot season 1 of the movie ABATTOIR.
ABATTOIR is a story that was written many years ago by Dami, and we're talking about 4 years ago, thereabouts, not over 4 years ago. And as at that time when he talked about the story, we were really excited back then, because it's a new type of approach to the gospel in the Mount Zion setting, because we're used to, or we're already getting very comfortable with stories that have to do with either family, which is especially mommy's stories, epic stories, which was daddy's stories. So Dami was bringing this new style, and it got me really excited, because of course there are many possibilities and things that could be experimented with it. That was back then. But as back then again, I think God didn't make it possible, because Dami didn't even really know how to shoot half as well as he can now. I also was just, God was just giving us, using grace to cover our, flaws back then. So we couldn't even have achieved what we achieved now. So when it was time, that was last year. Okay, if you're watching that, it was 2019. That was when we eventually picked up the story to shoot. And Dami acted, and he told me that I was going to be the DOP. So right from and in fact, when we were ready to shoot, and he picked up the script he had written about 4 or 5 years ago, he saw that there has to be a lot of adjustments. So he practically had to rewrite the entire story. So when I read it, I was not excited. Okay, this is updated version. I think this is like the 3rd version he had written also. So when we went on location 3 times in 2019. So we shot 2 episodes with each time we went on set. And right from this location, I knew that it was going to be a very interesting shooting. So we used basically the whole of 2019 to deal with ABATTOIR shooting. In between it was then Gbade and some other movies like that. Oh, and then ABATTOIR and co. So now to edit it again was another issue, because right after shooting, other major higher priority movies were on ground like ABATTOIR. So we had to put ABATTOIR on hold. So we put it on hold, and then we faced ABATTOIR, and we faced Gbade, and we faced My Mother-in-Law, and we faced all these other movies. So now it was like, okay, we're going to shoot, we're going to do ABATTOIR now, Joshua, we're going to work on ABATTOIR now. As we're about to start ABATTOIR again, train came, so we had to put ABATTOIR in the closet again, the fridge. So we did the train, and we're glad that we did the train first, because the noise that the train had might have probably just covered ABATTOIR if we had done ABATTOIR first. So the train came, and we gave the train over a month and let the train pass properly before we faced ABATTOIR. So going into the post-production work again, by that time, I by the grace of God, I felt ready to face ABATTOIR. So even what we saw on location and the end product is like miles apart, because what God had been able to introduce into the post-production work, from the trailer to the visual effects to the music to everything, it's been God. Because even when I look back and watch these episodes one by one, I'm very grateful that something like this can come from the family of drama ministers, from the drama ministry family. I mean, from drama family in Nigeria. Because people can watch this and be like, this is top notch. People are watching and say, oh, this is beautiful, this is wonderful, creative, wonderful technicality and everything. And I'm like, this is something that had been written so many years ago, and it's like now is the time that it's even more relevant. Now that coronavirus and everything and the pandemic and everything had been all over the place, people are now at home more to watch things online, and so it has, after the noise of the train, it had given people some more things to see from drama ministers in Nigeria, and I'm really glad that God picked this period to release that kind of movie.
Slowly now, slowly.
Like that?
Yes, 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 yes. Wake up, John.
Who leaves the sitting room and sleep under the car?
So what we're trying to do basically is to create a godly alternative, a film that people can watch, like a season film, because there are a lot of secular season film these days that don't have anything gospel in them. That's not even enough. They don't have anything that defines spiritual, not spiritually defined, and there's so much in the air, But I thank God, because He started to give us movies that can inspire people, so that you won't feel empty at the end of the day watching a film.
The film, we shot it well over 1 year ago, almost 18 months now. I think it was February, March last year that we first shot it, and I kept asking Damilola how far with ABATTOIR, because I wanted to see how the film is going to turn out. And seeing it on YouTube, I was very surprised at the outcome, because now the whole story is coming together, and I saw it in a new light, different from when I was just reading the script. It came alive. At that time, it just felt we were doing, yes, a film like several films we've done before, but now you are happy, you are proud, you are honored, you feel blessed to be a part of that kind of project, because of number one, the outcome, number two, the way people have accepted it, the way God has started using it mightily in the lives of the people. So I feel blessed for being a part of that project now.
See, there's some things I myself can't explain. There's some things that are difficult to say. This and these are the things we did. I can't put it right and say this is what we did to get best casting, because for me now, I knew I was going to act matters. For some of the actors, I've never met them before in my life. Like the guy that acted Timmy, I don't know him. He was suggested by another person. That's Brother Emmanuel. So I just gave him, so who do you think can act this role? I said, Simi. Then the sister that acted the prostitute, I've never met her before, Sister Tolu. I didn't know she could act. So it was by faith that we just, casted her and said, come on, set and act this part. And she delivered very well.
Flora.
Well, it was like a miracle to me because I didn't even see it coming. Okay, back then I was not even supposed to be the one to take that role because the lady that was supposed to take the role, I think she got a job or something, so she was not able to come. So it was a friend that Brother Mi sent to me that got across to me and asked me if I'll be able to take the role and if I'll be available. Then the script was sent to me on a Friday. I had to go through the script. Then I got back to him that okay, I'm going to do it. Then I think on Monday we resumed location and that was it.
Well, I'm actually thinking of putting some money together and then give him a check.
Is it necessary?
I'm not asking for your opinion about this. What do you even know?
Dad, I'm your spiritual father.
See who is talking. Jolly just come.
Well, that was the first time I was going to be at a movie location. Yes, I had never been to any movie location before, though I had read about it. I've heard people talking about it. I've seen different videos of how it's done, but that was my first time on any movie location. So it was quite an experience for me. I learned a lot.
Back then in school, it's just about stage drama. I've never faced the camera. That was like my first time facing the camera.
I remember getting a call asking if I would be able to take up a role as regards a secondary school boys role, and I was asked to pray about it and then send the feedback, which after about 2 days I prayed about it. I felt God was giving me a go ahead, and actually I was recommended by a senior friend of mine, Brother Emmanuel, and so I was contacted by Uncle Dami.
For the past 5 years, I've been molested.
Sit down.
Sit. By who? My stepmother.
Well, I got the script some weeks before I went to the location. So I spent time reading it and memorizing it. But it was easy for me because most of my lines were lifted from scriptures. So there were scriptures that I had been used to before time. So it was easy to just act it out and all. And I think that was what helped me, by God's grace.
The phone was plugged to the socket, but it was not connected to power. For the first time, that scripture, 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 5, made sense to me. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such, turn away. Mr. Martins, how do you want God to use you like that phone to call the world and spread his message if there is no power inside of you?
Okay, I remember that since when I was young, we've always watched Mount Zion at home. I remember I Will Heal the Land, Captives of the Mighty, Agbaranla, ABATTOIR, Covenant Child, and all that. So since when I was young, we've always been watching Mount Zion at home. So getting the call to come and take up a role, I was shocked. As time went on, all my fears were calmed. I would say that for me, being on set, it was an experience. I was with a lot of people that I really looked up to, that I saw on screen. I had been seen on screen. I was I don't know the word for it. I was so shocked many times when I would expect them to react a certain way and they would just be calm. They would encourage me, they'll tell me, okay, you can do it, just take a deep breath in, calm down, God will help you. All those words it was a very big morale booster for me.
Am I a murderer?
No.
Do you believe I killed your mother?
No, Dad.
Then throw this nightmare into the sea of forgetfulness. For the last time, what you saw that night was a dream. Am I clear? Martins.
Sir.
Have I given you your answer?
No, Dad. You've given me more questions.
When I got the call to act in ABATTOIR, I had a mixed reaction. I was excited, obviously, because I was being called to a Mount Zion set, and it was exciting. On the other hand, I was nervous. I was really nervous because I was thinking, how am I going to cope? What if I don't measure up? What if I don't do it well? And a lot of thoughts like that. So I spoke with Uncle Finyo Kedare, who is someone that I look up to in drama ministry, and I told him how I was feeling. And then he said something that was very profound. He told me that the reason why I'm feeling that way is because of pride. And I was like, pride? Like, yes, he said that. The reason why I feel that way is because I'm depending on my strength, that I will not be scared if I trust God. Like, okay, so from there I started praying, trusting God that I'll just trust God to do this. And I started studying the script, laying my hands on materials I could find on how to interpret the role, and yeah, that was my reaction.
I've never seen Goodness act that role before. He acted, in fact, Goodness was so good that he ended up becoming like the star in the whole season 1 and the whole episode 1 and episode 2. And it was my wife that suggested Goodness. My wife, Ella, just said, no, Goodness looks like you. He has your complexion, he can take you. And I just casted him, and he came on set and he ended up becoming someone different. I've never seen him act like that before. So it's about having the available resources, people we have around, people that we could, use, people that we have access to. Those are people that we use. So I can say that none of us are professionals. It's the Spirit of God in us that just brings out the best in us.
Sincerely, up till the moment that I started acting, I was just trusting that God helped me, because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it well. And there was that fear on one side, but I was just trusting God and tried to play my part. Also, the director really helped me in guiding me. So I didn't think that I could do it on my own. I was just trusting God, and I believe He helped me.
Why did you do this to me? What did I do to you? You dumped me in the gutter, you bloody fool.
Even in school, some people thought that I was studying mass comm while I was in school. But it's funny because I really can do art in class. I enjoy science more in class. I actually love anatomy. I loved studying it and I enjoyed the course. And I don't think I would have fared well studying art. Art comes naturally to me in practice, not in class. I enjoy human anatomy as a course, and I enjoy doing art on the side. I think that's just how God wired me.
And then I was saying something earlier. I said that we just use people that are available, and God's Spirit just came over and took control. Now there was a particular scene. And in that scene, it has to do with Martins teaching a student, and the student was directly insulting the teacher, Martins.
Now, some of you are in the wrong environment, all right? Some of you are in the wrong relationship. Some of you are in the wrong friendship. That is why you cannot function properly.
Maybe like you, sir.
Excuse me?
that scene, that student, it happened that we met the students on set. Now, we had limited cast for Abattoir. So we went to school and we couldn't get somebody that will act that part. And we begged the teacher and said, can we use some of your students? I said, of course. Then we saw this guy. You know, I said, as the director, I came on set and narrated it to the students that, okay, this is what I think you want to act this. I'm going to be your teacher. And one of you will come and challenge me. Alright? So that was what I said. So who's going to challenge me? Then this guy came out. In fact, somebody was about to do that, but that boy was, when we rehearsed it briefly, the boy that was doing it wasn't doing it well. Then this young boy just came on set and said, no, what, let me do it, I can do it. Let me show this man. Then he came on set and he started displaying for us, you know. Now this is the guy we met on set. And he started showing us, started displaying and everything. And he started making me laugh, he was cracking me up, he was making me laugh.
No, I'm a very open person. I don't take things too personal. So let's hear what you have to say. What do you have to say?
I was thinking that maybe it's you that your brain did not function well, and don't balance with the change of the environment. But you that you don't come to work regularly. You know, your class gone, when you are doing class, like prayer ceremony, but everywhere you're silent, your class is dry. Like as if you are doing prayer ceremony.
I wish I had a second camera.
Alright, let's go. Alright. Don't say too much. Just say little, okay?
And you don't come to work like that. You can have your period today now. You don't see you. Maybe you are doing capital work somewhere else. You don't even know. That's what I'm trying.
Wow.
Just say this, that. Don't make you laugh. You understand? You get what I'm saying? Just say blah, okay, say blah, 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 blah. Just for him. You know we are not you again. Don't use your lines again. Alright? Just to help him.
This person was giving me serious issues on set because I was trying so hard to maintain that character of Martins. And at the end of that scene, I sat back and I watched it. In fact, that was the scene that was the catchy point for Abattoir, because that was why a lot of people wanted to watch Abattoir. They wanted to see who is this boy that is giving a teacher a tough time. But they don't know that boy was not an actor. He's not a professional in any way. You know, talking about God using people around and just put the spirit on. You know, so it's so amazing that somebody who has never been on set before, who doesn't know anything about film, but he just got provoked and challenged and said, I can do this role now. And he came on set and he did it. And that scene that looked like an impromptu was what was used for the advert, for, you know, to get awareness and everything.
Right here, looking at me in the face. I trusted him. I thought he was a good person. I thought he was a good teacher. But I never knew he was a rapist.
Flora, what are you talking about?
In episode 5, it got to a point, Saul said she was standing up and she was speaking in tongues when the prostitute was in Martin's house and they were talking, and there was this exchange of dialogue between the prostitute and Martins, and there was a knock on the door. Then the person stood up thinking it was the policeman and he was taking the he was speaking in tongues. Then immediately Baba Dibola entered. Then the person praised the Lord. God, you are good. God, you are God, answered by fire. You know, it shows how films can be. Film is a very powerful tool that makes the unrealistic look so realistic. You know. So it was very, very, very powerful tool. There's a picture I saw on Twitter. A man and his brother, they had dance together. The film was still showing, and they were praying. They were praying for Martins, you know. So I think it's so inspiring seeing this kind of thing. I think you're right. Actually, I think I knew I was going to take that path while writing the script. I already knew that this is a part. That sometimes when I write, I just know that I'm not acting in this film. But what I'm going to do is directing. And there's nothing like if I try to force myself to act, it's not going to work because God is not choosing me to act at that point in time. There's some rules that I will just know that the Spirit of God is saying that the one that is going to act this role. The same thing for Ignition. While writing Ignition, God told me that the one acting this role. And I knew I was the one because it was very funny because towards that time I had a breakup in the relationship. Then I was feeling so sad, so down. Then the script came about, and God said, instead of feeling sad, concentrate on this role because this is what you're going to do. This is the role you're taking. So forget about the past, focus on the ministry. This is your role. Focus on your role. Then for other roles too, I just know God says this is the role. So for Abattoir, I've already written the script, and as I was even writing the script, I knew that this is Martins I'm the one acting Martins, So the other films like that, I will know that I'm not the one acting. It's not my responsibility. All I can do is to just be a director or just act behind the scenes.
Where are you?
The amazing thing about the films that they are kind of very unusual casting there. Like for Daddy Ojori, I looked around and the only person that looked available, that lives close to us, was Daddy Ojori. So I didn't particularly cast him because I think he knows how to do it. I casted him because I think he's just available. And he delivered in an amazing way. So to me, the simple answer is when God sees an available vessel, he just pours his spirit upon the vessel, and the vessel just explodes and does amazing things. So it's about the spirit and the anointing of God. Because the truth of the matter is, when I see that when I see his act after the editing, of course on set, the revelation of what he did, it didn't really occur to me. Because on set, it looks as if we're just joking around. It's as if we're just playing around. But after the cuts and everything, and the music and everything, it's as if it's different character is what we are seeing from what we saw on set. So it's unexplainable. It's really something you cannot say, this is how we did. So my only explanation is that this is nothing but the anointing of God, to be honest.
As a matter of fact, some parents openly said their children would not want to meet me. I have two sets of kids who actually told their dad never to see me again, that I was evil. But the issue is, how did I get to that level that people now have to see me as an evil persona? And it has to do with with delivering what has been given to me. Just delivery. When Damilola called me, actually if he had a project, he would call me way ahead of time so he can situate his project in my schedule. And he called me and said, Daddy, this is going to take a long time, but we want you to be prepared ahead. And I said, cool, let me have the entire script. And he posted it to my email, and I saw this character. I felt challenged. I was getting used to playing the regular, your lovely pastor, your personable pastor. I was already getting used to it, and suddenly, like you said, boom, there comes this character. So I had to take time to ingest what really the character is about and stands for put my own feel into the character. And I did that for about 3 months before we got on location. And I was able to capture how I wanted to project the character. So I believe I made the director's job easier, because after every scene, the director would always say, "Daddy, great." I worked on the character, and I believe that God really helped me. I'll say one thing that Daddy in the Lord, Mike Bamiloye, said. I was with him and Mommy Gloria, and he said, "Brother Kayode, role tí a máa fún yín next babaláwo lẹ́ṣin, so that ẹ wà mọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wà mọ̀ pé ìṣe pastor nìkan lẹ lè ṣe." And he said that. I was saying, I didn't know it was going to come out that way, because actually to fulfill yourself as an all-round, they call it a multi-dimensional character, you have to be able to portray any role convincingly. I'm not saying I did it convincingly, but I believe that if the kind of reception, if the kind of reaction we have is anything to go by, then that character, Chief Durosanya, has been justified by the person who played it to a good extent. So to me, it was just normal. I just did what was expected of me, as if I was playing the role of a pastor, as I always did it. And let me also say that by way of reaction, I have had people tell me that they pleaded the blood of Jesus on me. That no, that's not the daddy that I knew. I plead the blood of Jesus on you. That no, it's not you. You are not evil. That means he's getting there. And I want to believe that that's quite appropriate and good enough. Even if it's getting negative reaction to me in person when they meet me person to person.
Power does not come easy. It comes with a cost.
Big Daddy.
Goodbye, Jumoke. When I got the script of ABATTOIR, of course, I know that I can't expect anything less from Damilola. That wasn't the first time I'm working with him, so I knew it was going to be a great script, and I wasn't disappointed. I didn't quite understand the story at first. Because for most series you don't have the full script, so we got the script in batches of 2 episodes, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So even up till now, I don't know how the story is going to end. But reading the first episode, I was captivated, and the first question is, what do they mean by ABATTOIR? And is it a group? Is it an association? Is it a cult or whatever? The first few scenes were captivating. That was when the wife of the Chief Durosanya died, and the Inspector General of Police came, and you wouldn't know that he and the Sanya, they are friends, and much until later. So the script was captivating. It was interesting, and I was eager to be a part of that film, because when I read the script, I felt it a privilege to be asked to play that character and be involved in that project.
At last!
We did it.
So what about the girl?
Oh, give her a fake check.
And then?
Take her down.
Good idea.
I think some years ago I acted Jesus. I acted Jesus in a film. It was by Broshola Yanijobi. It was about the marriage in Cana of Galilee, and I acted Jesus. I've acted real pastors before. Sometimes people are saying that I've been acting too much of fake pastors. It's a ministry. It's a calling. Whatever you're asked to act, you act it.
I've never seen K-Babs act that kind of role like that before. You know, I've seen him act in so many dramas, so many movies, but I've not really seen him act like that kind of character. In fact, the character I had as Inspector Gbade was not someone like K-Babs.
One blood, one soul, one heart, stands for all, speaks for all. The stars make us who we are.
The stars bind us as one.
No blood, no glory.
No glory, no blood.
No blood, no glory.
No glory, no blood.
No blood,
no glory.
I will talk about the relationship between Chief Durosanya and acting with Evangelist Kayode Wojori, you know, in two different forms. Number one, I don't think we've been together on set before that time. He himself said it that several times we've been involved in many films together, but on the same set, I don't think so. So it's an actor that I respect so much, and I knew that I had to learn a lot from him.
Yeah, in Christian evangelical movies, one of the people I look at and I'm really happy is K-Babs.
I respect him so much. I love his spoken English. I love his punctuations. I love the way he attacks every dialogue. It's very beautiful. So I know that he's someone I have to learn a lot from.
That man has it in him. He has the courage, he has the talent, he has the ability, and he has the spirit. Those elements were all present in him. And so it wasn't. I have been on a huge number of locations with him. Some of them Mount Zion, some of them other production companies, and every time we get together, we just hit it off straight. We hit it off straight. In some cases, even my teleprompter was right in his hands. You know, he was holding the teleprompter while I was doing my stuff. And some of the times when you fell short a little bit, he will jack you up. He's that good. So it's not me, it is him who gave a boost to the character I was portraying. He gave a boost. K-Babs is, for me, is a top notch.
When he came and he brought his own uniqueness on the set, with his own interpretation, in fact, at the end of the day, people were giving me, analyzing the character for me in a way that I myself didn't analyze as a scriptwriter. They say for someone, so they were telling me, say, damn it, this is how the character is like. For Chief Durosanya, he's very persuasive, he's cunning. He knows how to get to Martins in a way that Inspector Gbade could not. Inspector Gbade was more, get him here, arrest him, kidnap him, let's take him to the zoo. You know, different kind of character. It was only jab. And K-Babs executed that character perfectly well. But Chief Durosanya was more relaxed, was more cunning, was more subtle. You see the end in a demonic way. He has a way of seeing the end from the beginning. That was why that herbalist was saying, this herbalist idea, I'm not sure, but you know, K-Babs was more aggressive and everything.
When your primary co-actor is good, it helps you to kind of up your game. It helps you to bring your A game. It helps you to improve and, you know, get better. So number one, you don't want to get on set and forget your lines. So you don't want to be the weak link. You understand? So it really helped me in interpreting the role. In the film, Durosanya is actually older than Gbade in the film. But you know, there are friends that are younger than you, that you are very close, and he's like a sidekick. But apart from being a sidekick, I mean, Gbade and Durosanya now. Gbade is like a sidekick to Chief Durosanya. But apart from that, he's someone, Gbade doesn't really have the art to do lots of things. Yes, you didn't get to that point that you got to by child's play. You don't become Inspector General of Police without being able to do some things. He's a schemer. is calculative, he himself is a cunning, clever person. But there are limits that he can get to. So the things that he couldn't do, he encourages Durosanya to do them. And you have people like that in our daily, relationships. People that are with you all weather, cold, or they are supportive. They just want to help you fulfill your dreams. Also, there's a sort of backstory to it. We could assume that Gbade didn't become IG on his own. We could assume that Durosanya was one of those who helped him to get to that point. Durosanya is very powerful. He's the first in rank. He's the order of the secret seer. But when he was talking to the Grandmaster, he said,
I crave for power.
But you have the power.
I crave for more power.
In what dimension?
My influence is more in my state and in my immediate domain, but I want to have a global and national influence. I want to become the act of the seer. Now, so Gbade knows that if he helps Durosanya to become that, he himself will benefit from it. Because who is most likely to benefit from your influence, if not someone that is very close to you and even helped you to become, that person to get to that role. So Gbade is playing his own scripts and is also helping Durosanya. It's a beautiful relationship. There are things that Durosanya will not, muddle his hands into. That he will not get his hands dirty. I want promotion, I want power, I want influence, but there are things that I cannot do. Gbade, go and do it. If it fails, yes, Gbade will take the fall for it. On the hospital bed, he was blaming Gbade and saying,
another failed advice from a failed friend.
I'm sorry.
Sorry? Is that all you have to say?
What else do you want me to say, Sanya?
I want you to say how much of a failure you are.
That's the relationship between both of them. It was beautiful, the script, and I believe it was also beautiful as we acted on set also. Like I said, working with Evangelist Kayode Ojori was very fulfilling, but it's also very tasking because you want to up your game and not be the weak link. All in all, I think it's a beautiful relationship.
So at the end of the day, it's the Spirit of God. Yeah, it's about the anointing. It's not about we knowing who is best to act what. Because I didn't know anyone was actually good for that role. As far as I think in my mind, I was like, let's just use who is available. Whoever is available around. And God made the available people become the best actors. So it's about God.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! How did you find my house? And you didn't tell me you were coming.
Not actually went through my mind and just say, thank God for this role. Thank God for the writer considering me. Thank God for them looking for an old man in a village or in a town in Gbrenro to come and play such a big, wonderful and challenging role. It was just a heart of gratitude and nothing else.
Hey! What's your motive, young lady?
What are you talking about, sir?
What are you talking about? Somebody sent you to this house.
Nobody sent me here, sir.
Papa Gbenro, how can you be so mean? How can you talk to her like that? What's wrong with you? This lady was not molested.
I was.
She actually came here to molest you.
It's a lie.
Papa Gbenro, your words are irritating me. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. Martins, there's a battle going on right now.
Bàbá ó fà. Bàbá, àpò yín ló ti ń dùn. Níbo ni kí ni? Ohun ẹ̀ ń tẹ̀lé yín kiri, mo gbọ́ lára yín.
Hello, Gbade.
Dami is a son to me. By the grace of God, we met when he was
at Bowen University. And since I've met with him, he has been so fantastic. He's very creative, and he's a personality that I know God has endowed with greater blessings.
I may look crude and unpresentable, but I know my onions.
My reaction when I got the script was
are we ready for business?
Beautiful, I can say, because I first thought it should be God's work. It's not my own making, and it's not my very self that is going to even act that aspect, because it's not in consonance with my recalling as a pastor. So I have to depend on the one that suggested my name, and that is God. Because I believe whenever a script is being given me, God knows that I will be able to do it. And I have never depended on my own ability anyway. I depended on God's ability, and who has been helping me to make it what it usually turns out to become.
Kéèrè fún mi. Wo èmi ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń gbé bí yìí o. Tí o tútù ọba ń bọ̀ kí ní kókó ẹgbẹ́ mọ́ ìjọ ẹṣẹ́ pé kó tó ti gbàgbé báyìí ó lò ẹ̀jẹ̀. Olóòlù mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ti ń gbé bí. Ìwà sọ pé ọmọ ó gbé bí. Ẹgbẹ́ bá fẹ́ tí bá fi kí ní báyìí ọmọ jẹ.
Ṣé tútù náà ló lè tó bẹ́ẹ̀?
Ọ̀rá bá mi ṣe kí ọwọ́ yìí. Gbade ọmọ ní nǹkan báyìí ọwọ́ ní o òkùnkùn sí òsè.
Well, I didn't know I was going to take the role. We just knew we were going to a suya spot, and I even remember it was in the night, so I didn't connect that I was going to take the role. I think I was busy. I was in charge of G Baba's car, so I was busy taking the car. They forgot some things at home. I went home to pick, only for me to come and say, Toby, you are taking this role. So we had to cover, Toby had to cover up because the suya guy does not know the rudiment of movie making. If you go and say cut, if we say action, and he does not know what to say, so I had to cover up. I don't even know where I got those lines from. Yes, it's in the script, but how it went into my head, I don't know. I just have a gift from the Holy Spirit, and that is I am a different person before action. But once I hear action,
Baba sike aṣọ, ó sójà no dey tire. Baba.
The Holy Spirit just I don't understand what happens to me. If I am in any program and they ask me to react, it's not me. It was not me. So you know, I was just saying everything. I was just, at the end of it, I said, Toby, did you have to say all this? Even though it's in the script, should you have expressed all this? I felt I didn't do the right thing, but when I watched it, I said, I forgot I was the one on the screen. I forgot. I was just, I almost said, this guy, you two they talk. But later, I will remind myself that Toby, you are the one that took this role. So it was a great privilege. I want to thank the director and producer for giving me the privilege to be an assistant director and to take that role is a blessing to me. I didn't have to take a major role to have the blessing. That little role, I have received calls, people encouraging me. So if that is the role, if you are told to carry generator in a location, don't see it as something small. God's blessing is huge on you.
I believe that every actor, now in quotes, but I would prefer to use every minister, gospel drama minister, should be passionate about what you are giving. You are not doing this for yourself. You are not doing it for your generation. You are doing it for generations yet unborn. So for that reason, any role you are given, you have to be passionate about it. You have to really put in all your best to make it come out beautifully.
I ate suya that day. I made friends with the suya man. The suya man understood Hausa, and our cast, Dr. Moses Koredeare, was very fluent in the Hausa language.
So apart from Yoruba, which is my primary language, I think the second language that I speak so fluently in is Hausa. I speak the language very, very well. So incidentally, we met a Suya man, and I just advised the director that, sir, can we flow better? Let's speak the language of the Suya man. And thank God for Damilola, you're obliged.
You have enemies. They are setting this company on fire just the way they set you on fire, sir.
Frank, my company?
To be frank, sir, your company.
Frank. Because people generally ask me, why don't I act? I act, ladies and gentlemen. Let me now say it here again. Please, I act. But if I'm holding the camera, you're not going to see me, right? Because I am holding the camera. So in ABATTOIR, I was holding the camera 99% of the time. But then when you saw me as Frank, Dami was holding the camera, right? So the character Frank, of course, I would have loved not to play a comic role in ABATTOIR, because I mean ABATTOIR is supposed to be a serious film. Then people will feel, oh, Joshua just brought his comic whatever into the movie again. But anyway, that was the role Dami said I should take, and he said he saw my face when he was writing that character, so he wrote the lines along the lines of what I could deliver. So to the glory of God, we took the role. And of course, in fact, I hadn't mastered my lines because I was so into the shooting and I was involved in the shooting that when it was now time for me to act, I wasn't ready. So what we did was something we call billboard, you know, and Brotobi Akobi, understand what this is. So we do billboard a lot in our own. Please don't try it though. It's not a good way to learn acting because you have no choice than not to master a line. So billboard is when you're acting and then you place the script somewhere as a billboard and then you practically read it. So that was what I was doing that day because I hadn't mastered my lines at all. So each time you saw me looking away and me saying, oh, sir, if the man is supposed to be here and I'm doing, it's because I'm busy reading my lines. And then I'll give it again and I'm like, And sometimes I would do like I'm thinking while talking, but I'm not thinking, I'm reading my lines. So that was part of the tricks. It's not everybody that can do it. You have to be skilled, you know, you have to be skilled in doing things like this. So don't try it. Master your lines, please. If you're going to be acting, don't say billboard in there. Don't say that. You must master your lines, except you're the DOP and they call you to act briefly for a day.
Well, with the fear of being immodest, I have had a concept of what that character is by good preparation. Even when I was on professional duties, I would always have my script, electronic script with me. If it is only one chapter that I could read in a day, I would read it. I won't memorize, I would just read. So it didn't matter to me whether I was reading or I was reeling the lines. What mattered to me was that I had gotten the character in me. So I was portraying the character with the lines as they were coming in. So the character came first before the lines. So that's it to me. And sometimes we would finish a take and the crew will clap because they knew the secret. They knew that it wasn't me, you know, giving the lines of hand. It was just that I was reacting to a script. But much more importantly, I had imbibed the character. Sometimes I felt that I was Chief Durosanya. It was that real to me. Sometimes I would go back after the location and I would be purging myself of the elements of Durosanya. I looked in the eyes of the director, Da Milola, and I told him, this is deep revelation. God has opened your heart to see the secrets of deep places because this is happening. And so with the same zeal that God gave him that revelation, I wanted to act it out. So he helped me. You shouldn't mess around with such a role.
Of this mysterious fire. So we'll be joining now our correspondent, Mr. Tunde, from this.
Hello, Gbade.
Yes, Martins.
We'll be joining our correspondent.
I'm watching the TV right now. You need to see what I'm seeing.
I see it.
Mama Gbenro. It was so funny. Very, very funny when I was told. I was already at the location before I was told I would act as Mama Gbenro. You know, we are about shooting the particular part. I said, Mama Gbenro, I'm busy. I was like, you know, I have to act as the wife to Baba Gbenro. And Baba Gbenro, that is his normal self, you know. Baba Gbenro is a wonderful person as he is. That is him. You know, enhancements and the makeup, nothing. But now, looking at me with him, I forced to laugh and look at myself. All to the glory of God, I did the makeup and I asked them how far. They said, yeah, beautiful. I said, well, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Whatever you see, you can judge. So, and thank God for the role. For that first one, I have to borrow clothes from my welfare mama. I have to come and say, Mama, can you just give me some of your clothes? So I have to borrow clothes. Then the following seasons, and I have to bring clothes. So I think it's a wonderful part that God gave me the grace.
It's getting late. I'm not
to really act it.
My spirit is restless. I need to see Martins.
Then let's call him again.
You know we have called him several times, but he won't pick our calls.
Then let him be.
He is our son.
A boy who has no value for his father cannot be called a son.
Yeah, you know, as Mama Gbenro, for the first time, I have to argue with her husband. At that episode 5, where she was trying to urge the husband not to go after Martins, you know. There was this argument between them. It wasn't a hot one. Still a very calm one. But at the same time, we could see the emotion whereby Mama Gbenro at that particular moment was too emotional about the whole scene. Actually, there's no as human beings. But the slogan says, to her is woman, to forgive is divine, you know. There's nobody alive that cannot mess up. No matter how vibrant you think you are. You could see Mama Gbenro praying for Martins at this hour. Then the next time she was saying, Martins is not our child. You know, she was like, people wouldn't expect that from her, you know. And Baba Gbenro have to correct her. I said, he is still our son, that they have responsibilities to play a good role in Martin's life. And then that is just to tell us that at times when we are too emotional about what is happening around us or what we hear, know what God is saying this time around. We might be blindfolded to the will of God, to the right things to do at the right time. We are too emotional. It was only Baba Gbenro that saw the need, the urgency in the message. Mama Gbenro couldn't feel it because that thing is the emotional trauma. That thing, she was too emotional about what Martins did. As a mother, as someone that has labored, she has to be thinking about her labor over Martins over the years, and the love she had shown him and everything, you know. She was just like recalling all those things, forgetting about the love of God towards us. And Baba Gbero could just like break the news and say, no, there is urgency concerning this message and I have to go. And thank God Baba Gbenro went.
Mommy.
Daddy.
If you will agree with me, I feel led to cut this his funny hairstyle. We are going skin.
I'm in total agreement with you, Daddy.
But I looked at that character and his parents, and I saw a total picture of a Christian couple who were training their child the way of the Lord and were not discouraged by the fact that he was veering off. They were in agreement.
Yes, sir.
And that word agreement, that matters to me. I could see agreement in that home. So it was difficult for the child to go off entirely. I knew if they followed that character through, that boy was going to be a giant in the Lord.
Hey. Ó fẹ́ lówó àbí?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni bàbá.
Owó sì lówó.
Àṣẹ o bàbá.
Ó fẹ́ ní àwọn àgbákò owó.
Bàbá, owó tó ń rùn. Owó tó yẹ pé kò dìgbà tí n bá tó ní mo lówó. Káwọn èèyàn gan máa gbóòórùn ẹ̀ kán mọ̀ pé owó ń bẹ. Àṣẹ bàbá.
Actually, on set, my leg was paining me, baby. My leg was paining me. I was feeling tired. But when the story now said I should drop my leg, you know, it really helped.
Got it. Owó ti dàbí. Mo ti gbúrò rẹ̀ pé.
Alright, so I went to Mount Zion Institute in 2016, November. That was when I did my OCP, ACP. And I did one refreshers thereafter. But long before then and thereafter, I'd always been trusting God for an opportunity to act, to express the gift that God had deposited in me. Really, I believe that God, and it's in scriptures too, God sees what is done in secret place, in private, and He rewards it in open. Okay, I'm not saying that the role came because I'm a good person or anything I've done, but no, instead of trying to smuggle your way or trying to lobby to get things, depend on God. Sincerely speaking, there were times when I prayed to God that, God, I want to act. I want an opportunity to act. And also beyond just pray, do something with what is available. I saw a post yesterday on Instagram that before David went to go and kill Goliath, he was doing something, he was killing bears. He was not sending Saul DMs that, let me fight. He was doing something. So what God has placed in your hands, be busy with it. Build capacity, do something with what you have, and more doors of opportunities open to you.
Okay, the soundtrack for the movie ABATTOIR was actually 80% produced before I had to face the train. So it was like Dami was ready for us to pick it up. So I was a little bit struggling to create the soundtrack because I think I was still recovering from the last one I did. So there wasn't much inspiration, but as God was giving the grace, I was releasing the tracks, that is the sound and sound effects that would be used. But after then, when we realized that the train had to meet up with Daddy's birthday, we had to put that one on hold. So I had already reached like 80% and I stopped, and then we faced the train. And so when the train was done and I saw the kind of soundtrack from the train, I was encouraged but discouraged at the same time, because I felt that the gap between the quality and I don't know how to explain it, because if you watch the train, you would hear a lot of sounds that will move your chest, and even I also, there were times when I was moved to tears when I was listening to the track of where they were entering the train and all that. And now train is past and I come back to what I was doing with ABATTOIR and I'm like, what was all this? So I felt that as if I was coming down again. So from the train I had to pray, and then God gave me more inspiration, and Then the lyrics for the intro sound came about as well, and it wasn't yet there in my mind in terms of the kind of sounds that I can say, yes, this is it. But by the time we started laying it, by the time I started laying the sound in the movie, I discovered that it was just more than sound. It was just more than music. It had this force that came with it. So it was like the story had force, but then the music added fuel. I don't know how to explain it, but then and then a lot of the sound effects again, because I was able to lay my hand on sound effects that I had gathered, and the way everything blended into the movie was just amazing. I felt the movie, the sound itself gave the movie so much boost, because the story is beautiful, the acting was beautiful. So what gave it more oomph, as I like to call it, was the sound. And I'm really grateful to God that God took that ordinary sound. In fact, that intro sound, I had no idea that it was good like that till people started requesting for the sound. And I'm thinking, it's not actually a song, it's a paragraph. It's about 3 lines. That light shine above the darkness. It doesn't even have a chorus, doesn't have a verse. And people are requesting that, when are you releasing the song? And I keep telling them, this is not a song, this is an intro sound. But who knows, maybe we'll find a way to expand it and make it a song. But the fact that it went so well with the beginning, and everything was, it's just to the glory of God. Okay, the editing is another aspect that I really found very, very, very interesting. It gave me a lot of room to experiment a lot, because I'd always like movies where I can experiment stuff. The last time I had that level of excitement was in Stalker, and then bits of ABATTOIR. And then the previous time that I had that kind of encounter again was in Boson Fire. So whenever I see movies that have a lot of him, as I like to call it, it gives me room to want to try new things.
Calling!
So you start hearing weird sounds that people will be like, what? And when you are watching a movie, you are getting ideas. So some ideas you might not want to use because you feel people might get distracted from the message. But in movies like ABATTOIR, people can't get distracted from the message because the movie itself is weird. So if the movie is weird and everybody's mind is settled on the fact that it's a weird, very, very, very strange movie, if you put strange sound there, no one is distracted because everything just flows hand in hand. So if you also use weird, strange editing techniques, people flow into it as well because they are following the story as it is weird already.
Come back home. Martin. Mom, where are you? Martin. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Come back home.
So the first draft was done by Ruth Adepoju. That's the rough edit. So she edits the rushes together on set. And so she had done that when we shot in 2019, and it was just kept in the hard drives. So when we're ready to work on it, we brought it out again this year. And from the intro to the visual effects, especially episode 1, where Martins was dealing with nightmares, and we see images and flashes and everything just going ta-ta-ta-ta-ta and all that. So things like that excite me because it gives me room to be creative in editing rather than just the boring close-up wide and everything. So the editing is another aspect of ABATTOIR that I really found interesting, aside the acting and storyline itself.
Honestly, I'm not sure, but the way I look at it, I think it should be up to 3 seasons, whereby we have 1 season of 6 episodes each. Season 2, 6 episodes. Season 3, 6 episodes. That's my desire. This 3 seasons kind of makes up a complete pack. So but I'm not sure. I can't say. We can never tell where God is taking it to. God can decide to take it to 10 seasons.
So that film can go, ABATTOIR can go 10 seasons because there are a lot of subplots in that film. You could focus on Martins alone for an entire season. You could backslide. You could do all manners of things. You could even take over from his father as the older of the secret seer. You could talk to PVO's character and his son. You could branch into different parts. You can have as much as 10 seasons. It's beautiful because it's offering an alternative.
Then we have several challenges on set. One of the challenges on set was that we did not have access to the school, so we had to stop using that school to use another school. But we had to do it in a way that people will not really notice that this is a different school, unless you pay attention before you know that okay, this school is different. The school in episode 1 is different from episode 2. So when you're engaging in a faith work like this, definitely there will be different challenges. You don't always have it all in control. Most of the time, most of the things you have, you just have to have faith that as you are launching into this project, God will see you through. Everything is not, I've never been on set that I know that everything is 100% accurate. I know everything is in place. No, something will be off. Something, either the cast is not complete or the crews are not complete. Something will just be off. But as we just launch out in faith, God has a way of taking control from there.
The shooting itself, that is Abattoir, was basically the grace of God, because God found a way to connect us with people who were able to release either the school, because the schools that we used, the hospitals that we used, and then like the party scene. The party scene was done in a medium-sized room, and then when people watch it, they thought it was a large club and things like that. God also bestowed me with a lot of creativity to make the best use of what he had on ground, like the club scene, the bar scene where Martins and Gbade were talking. That scene where converting that whole place to a bar, God really gave the grace to achieve that. Because if you're seeing it on set, if you're on set and you don't understand, you're just watching, you might feel that this people just wasted their time or what is going on here. But watching the final product is wow. A typical experience was when we wanted to shoot in the hospital scene. The doctor had already given us the permission to shoot in one of his hospitals, and then when we got there, I think part of the staff that was in charge of the environment and the buildings just stopped us and didn't allow us to shoot, and we had already started applying the makeup on Sonia. And there was a lot of back and forth. The doctor too came and was like, why would you not allow? So I think it was almost like a mess, but then God ministered to the doctor, and then he referred us to somewhere else, and then he spoke to the doctor there, and then we found out that hospital was even better. That was the hospital we finally used for the hospital scene, and it was even better. The challenge we now had again was the sound, because that hospital had no choice but to run on gen almost every time, generator, and hearing the gen was, but then how God also helped us to eliminate it in post-production to the glory of God.
So yeah, I'm not walking down this path with you again. I'm sorry, I give up.
Gbade, I know you to be a very brave man. Whatever happened to you?
The last time we tried bringing that boy back, see where it landed you. Look at yourself.
It's very, very, very difficult to act and direct at the same time. But what I do most of the time is when I'm on set, there is always, I make sure there's an assistant who can direct me when I'm acting, but when I'm not on set, I can handle the camera, I can direct the lights, I can do so many things. But when I'm on set, of course I will direct other people, but for me, someone else has to look at what I'm doing. So that's when we have an assistant director that can put me through. When I'm tired and I'm acting and I'm thinking I'm doing well, the assistant director will tell me that, bro, Dami, you're not doing too well. You're a little bit tired in this thing. Why can't you just try and do more like we did the other time?
I had to stand in for him, communicating with the cast and the crew member, the director of photography, the lights people, the sound, everybody. So I had to, I'm like the bridge. I was like a spokesman for him.
But it's always a difficult challenge. I think when you're starting in film production, it's advisable, if you are going to act, get a director and let the director direct your thing and just focus on acting. But if you are going to direct, don't enter acting. Just direct. Or get even when you are directing, get an assistant too. So that two of you will see in the same vision. When you are tired, the assistant can move. When the assistant is tired, you can move. In Abattoir, it helped a lot. When Joshua was tired as the director of photography, there are times he was very tired of shooting. Because we have to shoot long hours because of the scenes, number of scenes that we have to cover. I have to stand in for him, especially when I'm not acting. So it's good when you have people working together.
In case when you will be an actor and you are also a director, it doesn't take anything away from you. If you have an assistant, somebody that you can hand over things to, somebody that can understand, that can think very fast, like or better than you, very important.
One of the things that made me scared while reading the script was the fact that some of the things that the character Martins did are far-fetched from me. But when we're on set, that scene where I had a confrontation with Martin's father was the same scene as where I was drunk.
I had many confrontations with Martins as Martins at his younger age. I guess I did. And I have said this on this program, that what matters most between character is the chemistry. I got a good chemistry from Martins. I got a good pairing. I could relate with him as a son who was hurting from an evil father.
So while Brodami was directing me on how to act drunk, I would say it's sort of losing my screws. So, and also, in that scene, I used tear sticks. I was given tear sticks to help me cry. The tear sticks were peppering my eyes. So some of the actions came from the burning in my eyes. It really helped me to bring out that character.
And so I really wanted to play the father that he could have anger and display that anger towards. And it was easy for me to do because I had somebody who was giving me the vibes that I needed. He enhanced my character.
And also, Daddy Owojori, being the excellent actor he is, his actions also spurred me.
So to speak of a particular challenging situation between me and him, every part was challenging. He was ready and I was building up to enhance him. Most notably, it was Martins that helped me to understand why the movie was called Abattoir.
So to answer your question, I got myself high and messed up to escape the reality of having a father who is either a ritualist or a psychopath.
You will not talk to me like that. If you knew what was best for you...
I know what's best for me. And sleeping in that gutter is part of it.
Because you are mentally unstable, that's why you prefer the gutter on the street to the comfort of your own home.
No, because it's better than this abattoir you built with your blood-stained hands.
You will not.
And I felt, yeah, that's where the movie came from. It was good for me. It was challenging playing that role, but it was easy to deliver because I had somebody who also could play it up to me.
I want that man out of my house.
Do you know what it takes to bring Alabelewe something from Gbade to this place?
I don't care.
So if you don't care about the trip, I just care about my life, about my time. I like a lot of things undone at work yesterday.
Okay, my most challenging scene in Abattoir will be that one involving Alabelewe and all that. Because like I said, I wasn't feeling fine. I was very sick while acting those parts. And I have lots of lines and actions. I was even told that there was a time I was closing my eyes on set while we were shooting. That I had to. So that was what made it challenging. Other than that, every other scene in Abattoir has been beautiful. And we thank God for the outcome.
The most challenging role that stressed me in Abattoir must have been the episode 5, that last scene.
You have an agenda, young man!
Alright, so the encounter between Baba Gbenro and Martins and what's the name of this person again? Flora. No, that scene in the room when they were having this back and forth debate was very challenging because it had to do with getting the lines right, getting the actions right, and getting the flows of the action right, because there is this back and forth. Someone talks, someone picks up, someone talks, someone picks up, someone talks, someone picks up, then we cut. Because there's an insertion. Oh, this man is coming. So we cut again. So it was the grace of God, to be honest.
To the glory of God, there wasn't any challenge like that. The only thing I can say is the normal thing that we experience on locations. I say, can we do this thing fast? Can we do this thing fast? So that film that I was fasting. I said, Mom, it's okay like that. We use it like that. We use it like that. No, it's okay. It's okay. But it's part of you. Some things that will train you as a makeup artist to be very fast with whatever you're doing.
The most challenging scene was the scene involving Baba Gbenro at the house of the Adebolas. I had to memorize a lot of lines and include mannerisms with those lines, and it was a very long discussion, and Dele had most of the lines. I think for me that was challenging, having to master everything, and the script was such that every line was very important, very vital. Every line had a message to pass, so I didn't want to drop any line, so it was challenging for me memorizing those lines and including the mannerisms with it. I think it took a while before I could combine both of them together, and God helped us. To the glory of God, it was successful.
Most of the scenes were shot at night. So the only challenging aspect is maybe because we are eating into the night and we have been working, and to be on stage just for an hour, 2 hours, it could be stressful. But with God on our side, all the challenging parts were made easy because it is not we per se, but it is God.
My father being the pastor of a local church is not helping matters. Yesterday, my mom told me to do the dishes. As I was washing the dishes, my dad came in and I was like, son, you have a good voice. And I was like, thank you, sir. But me knowing my father, I wasn't comfy about it. Ask me why.
Why?
Because my dad believes that every good voice must be sentenced to the choir.
People ask me, Victor, is it your son?
Voice, but guess what he did to her?
Victor is actually my son in real life. He's my first son. His name is Samuel Jesuloluwa. We call him Sammy J. Owojore. Sammy J has done some works with Mount Zion. This is not his first movie. He has done some with Mount Zion. But the clincher for Sammy J on ABATTOIR was that Dami called him. He works in Lagos. He's resident in Lagos, so he seldom comes to Ibadan. Dami called him and said, Sammy J, we want you in this project. And the challenge for him was, how was he going to get off work? He works Monday to Saturday. How was he going to get off work? One. And then he called me and he said, two things. One is, how do I get off work? Secondly, how do I act the role of a secondary school boy? Because Dami has told me that I was going to remove all my sideburns and the beard and possibly trim down the mustache. He said, I've never done that before. I said, it's you now. You just go on. Once you can sacrifice your mustache, it's okay. Once you can sacrifice your beard and your sideburns, it's okay. And he played it clean. He went to the barber just a day. The moment he got, first of all, he took his annual leave. He took 2 weeks off work. And then he came home and he went to the barbers. And he cropped his hair, cropped his mustache, cropped his sideburns, and took off his beard entirely. And boom, it was ready.
I think that one comes with practice, actually. It comes with practice. And to be honest, it's not everybody that can do it. It's not everybody that should do it. Particularly, I think everybody should just focus on the area that they are best in. if you are not comically inclined, don't force it. Just write the script and let it flow. The most important thing is that God's breath is in a script. God's hand is in the script. That's the most important thing. So I don't usually force people to say that when you're writing a script, it must be funny. This script must be funny. This must be, because if you do that, there are some jokes that we end up watering down the anointing, and you have to be very, very, very careful in this area. So, but for me, I think it's one area that God has helped me too in identifying my uniqueness in writing. Everybody's different, and how we started was that initially when I started writing, I would pick my daddy's drama and I would write exactly the things that he wrote. I would write it down exactly. Particularly, I remember the drama I picked up writing first was The Unprofitable Servant. In the youth drama team, they wanted the drama, and they told me, because you are my family's son, give us the drama. So what I did was I went to pick up Unprofitable Servant. I changed the characters, I changed the title, and I gave it my own name. And I presented it to them. I said, this is the message that I believe that the Lord has given me to give you people. And they read the drama and they said, Baba, I have seen this drama before now. This is Unprofitable Servant, don't deceive us. I felt bad. They didn't accept it. They just gave it back to me and said, no, we are not going to accept this drama because this is a Mozambique drama. We've seen this drama before, so we are not going to accept this drama. We want your own uniqueness. I felt so bad. So I told them, these people, I felt, I was telling myself, these people, they don't know God. They're not led by the Spirit. Because they're led by the Spirit, they know that the person I'm even copying got this inspiration from the Holy Spirit. So for them not to accept this script, something is wrong with them, not me. So, but God was using that experience to teach me that you need to identify your uniqueness. God has used Daddy to do amazing things. He wants to take you to another level of writing. If you write the exact same style, you're not going to be, there's not going to be varieties. So there's beauty in variety. So you need to identify your uniqueness in writing. And so that's how I started exploring my own style of writing. I started with Beautiful Lost, and my daddy read it. I was thinking my daddy would say, this is not how we write in Mozambique. So he read it, but he said, this is beautiful. I love this style. Continue, you must build it. You must continue. So he identified my style and he helped me to be better. As I said, okay, so this is a different style I can continue. So I built on that style, wrote Fiwa Jomi, added some comical elements. My daddy read the book, my father read the story. He said, this is fantastic. Let's do more. You can do more. So he kept pushing me to be better in my own style. So over the years, I've been able to develop that style of writing. So it helped a lot. And before I can create that style, sometimes I have to rewrite. I can write a scene like 5 times before I can get it. That particular scene that people just saw in an easy way.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine.
Great.
How's your dad?
He's fine. How's yours?
He's late.
Oh, my condolences.
But my mom is alive though.
My mom is late.
Oh, my condolences.
I know. Thank you.
That scene, it looks very, very simple, but that scene went through different drafts. We wrote that scene like 6 times. We wrote rewriting, just to get the flow of conversation. So that kind of style comes with experience and comes with identifying your uniqueness over time. So it's not everybody that should write in a funny way. I think the most important thing is to be as original as possible when you are writing. Just be yourself. Don't try and copy someone else's style. So people's style is tragic. They just write and in that style they get to people more. And if they try to switch and copy somebody else's, they will not hit the soul of people. They will not be as effective as if they have been themselves.
The first thing is that Daniel Alabelewe is a great scriptwriter and he writes great dialogue. And beyond that, he has a way of writing serious dialogue in a humorous way. And I love that so much about it. If you see Ignition, you will see those very funny scenes, but they are very serious all the same. Something funny about ABATTOIR 3 and 4 was that I was sick when I was shooting those 2 episodes. Those two episodes, I wasn't feeling fine. You could see it a little bit when we were doing the Alabelewe scenes, and my face was all puffy and all that. But because my character traveled to Gbade or whatever to go and bring Alabelewe, so it was excusable. That scene, when I was reading it, I was laughing. It was very funny. Both of them were playing games. Martins was playing game. Gbade too was playing games. They were playing games. That wasn't the purpose. Gbade came to, in a subtle manner, let Martins know that his spiritual father was complicit in the whole arrangement. And what we want to achieve, Gbade now and Durosanya, what both of them want to achieve is to turn the back of Martins to his spiritual father, played by Dr. Moses Dele. The purpose was to say, okay, this man that you've always seen as the only one, your father figure, he was part of us, so that they can, because when you want to deal with someone, you isolate them. When you want to finish off someone, you isolate them from their protective zone, you understand? Because we know that as long as Martins and the spiritual father have a good relationship, you cannot deal with Martins. So you want to isolate Martins so that you can be able to deal with him. And the best way to do that is to turn his back to his spiritual father. So the Durosanya and Gbade planned that go there and tell Martins that his spiritual father is complicit in this matter also. So, but you can't just go and say it straight away. So that was why they had to play the game. Martins knows that for him to see Gbade in his house, there's a bigger reason for it. So he too was trying to play the game. And so the dialogue was
have your seat. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Technically that's my line because you're my house. But I'll let that slide. Thank you very much. I have to say. Thank you.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
They're still playing cat and mouse game. And then he said,
how's your dad?
It's fine. How's yours?
He's late.
Oh, my condolences.
That is actually not the purpose of the visit or of the scene.
My mom is late.
That was a cat and mouse game between both of them. They are sworn enemies. They are suspicious of each other, but they just have to play the game, to try to get along. We were laughing on set because it was beautiful. It was funny, but you just have to keep a straight face and act that scene. And interestingly, it's one of the scenes that came out for the audience, and they actually loved it. It was actually when Gbade was now going that he was now able to tell him the purpose of the visit. That
when you're done playing hide and seek, you can come back home to your real father.
Because all of us, we are complicit in the entire matter.
This is the beginning, and I think God has a huge land. That's what I call the promised land that God is taking drama ministers to. And that land is a land that takes over the media. That is taking over the media, and it has already started. But we should not relax at this point, and I'm so excited at what God is doing, because I believe that my encouragement basically is that more ministrations should come up, more seasoned films should come up, more films that God will use to hold the attention of people and preach the message, the evergreen message of Christ, which is the most important thing. So we are taking over the media by God's grace. Gradually we are taking over. I was telling PVO that I was watching some films and they lacked, of course, there is no Jesus in them. So, but I felt, when I was watching this film, I felt, man, a lot of people watching these films will feel so empty at the end of the day. But it's so joyful that we have the message of life. that when people can sit down and watch our film, they feel life. If somebody called me, he sent a message to me and said, the story of Martins is alive. And I was surprised. He said the story of Martins is alive. Her mother did some things to her father. Mother killed her father. In this case, it's the mother. The mother killed her father, killed her brother. And also after some time, the mother died. And she ran away from home. And she held that in the heart. She held that in her heart. She held that bitterness, that sadness, that anger in her heart. She said she will never forgive her mother for what she did. And that character started to manifest. Just the way the character of Martin started to change. Anytime he remembers his father, he becomes someone completely violent. And it's so amazing because when I was watching ABATTOIR, while we were editing ABATTOIR, because we kept it in the cooler for like a year before we visited it this year. While I was watching ABATTOIR, I was asking myself, is this realistic? Can somebody be so blind to see the deception of the devil, to see the plots of the enemy, to see that the enemy is planning this? How can somebody be so short-sighted that you see a trap and you still fall in it? And I started to question myself. I said, this story is not realistic. I was telling myself that. Then God reminded me of the story of Samson and how Samson fell into the trap, even when he knows or he knew that something is wrong. I mean, this is Delilah giving you the signs that she's setting a trap for you, but still, you decided to fall into that trap. So I came to the conclusion that when somebody is in sin and somebody is in darkness, you cannot see. And that was the problem with Martins. So it shows that God's word, what we do in drama ministry is preaching the message of Christ, acting out the message of Christ, and a lot of people are getting saved. We are acting out some people's life, even though what we are acting may not look realistic to us. Because when I first wrote ABATTOIR, it wasn't realistic to me. I asked myself, how can a man kill his wife? It doesn't make sense. It's not realistic. So I was questioning myself, how can someone kill his wife that you love? Do this to your son, do this to your son. The word looked so far from me that this doesn't look like a realistic word. But I just acted, I said, God gave me this message. But at the end of the day, I see people telling me that this is my life, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm passing through. It shows the power we have. We have the power to interpret God's mind and show forth the life of people, the hidden life, the hidden darkness that people cannot share out. We have that power to share it out. That's the power that God has given us. So we should not relent, we should not give up, because this is just the starting point.
When people tell us that gospel films are not good, that the quality is not good enough, yes, they have messages, but technicalities are bad and all that. I ask them, which ones have you watched? Because you're talking about 10, 15, 20 years ago, things are much different. The secular film world does not offer you something bigger than gospel films are offering you now. And I can say it because I see secular films. I go to the cinema and I see films. And I can tell you, we are fast up there. We are doing great, if I do say so myself. There are Christians, born again Christians, who are MDs of companies who can support gospel films. There are pastors who are directors of multinational companies that can support gospel films, but they are not. And therefore you have no right saying gospel films are not good. What have you done to help? Secular films didn't just get there overnight. They had support, they had help, and they could invest in lots of things to get to that point that they got to. If God has blessed you, why not invest in gospel films? Why not? Sometimes it might even be your own tithe as a person that you use to invest in gospel films. It's a kingdom investment. And I assure you, it's going to reap 100-fold. Gospel films are great. God has really increased us. We are not dropouts. We are not never do wells. We are not illiterates. There are PhD holders. There are professors. There are professionals amongst us. Those who know their onions and who have this as a call. there are more graduates in gospel films than in the past. And we are doing this because God has called us into it. And because of our knowledge and our exposure, gospel film is much more improved. It's much better than it used to be before. With a little bit more help from people, we will get there. I can say with my full mouth that gospel film is great and is going to be greater. In the next couple of years, you will see great gospel films. I just pray that God will keep raising men and God will keep raising helpers so that this little light of ours will shine brighter.
Get a car ready for me.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
To rescue my son.
Super amazing. Gospel movie is going somewhere. We have seen it. Kai, please keep praying for us. Keep praying for this ministry. God has decided to use gospel movies to reach out to the entire world. If you are listening to us and God has given you enablement to be part of gospel movies, please don't hesitate. Not only your prayers, even your pocket also, your money, let it go into production of gospel movies and God will surely bless you. Thank you very much. Please keep watching Beyond Entertainment Show with PVO and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Victor Olukoju PVO. See you next time.
More than entertainment, beyond the applause of men, we seek for something valuable, and that is the soul of man, yeah. And that is the soul of man. Men and women, so down for God. And this is beyond entertainment. And this is beyond entertainment. Beyond entertainment.
Keep watching Beyond Entertainment Show with PVO.
Please, I have a special appeal. I want you to subscribe to Victor Olukoju PVO YouTube channel. I am begging you. Now beg at the beg una. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on that notification bell so that you can get to know when we drop new movies. Thank you very much and God bless you.